In my last video, I did some cool particle effects. This was super fun to work on, and I'll be sharing a little tutorial on how I did that next week. But right now, I want to talk about this idea of following your creative flow. Not just because we're talking about particles, but because my last video would have come out totally different if I hadn't followed mine. And for me to tell that story, I need to talk about that last project. My name's John, by the way, and I don't know if you're like me, but I struggle a lot with getting into that nice creative flow state. Either I end up staring at my monitor for hours on end, or I give up and play whatever game I'm obsessed with. Currently, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm playing it now. And when I'm under a lot of pressure, mostly it's coming from myself. I end up feeling overwhelmed with an edit and my creativity is stifled even more. But this time it was different. This time things went smoothly. And I'll tell you about how I got into that nice flow, just like this boat floating along the river in Dotonbori. Now you may be wondering how I went from this to this. Well, let me tell you. Initially, I intended for this project to be a very simple edit. I had a lot of footage from my Japan trip, especially going around the city, and I thought I'd use those leftover shots, stitch them together, put in a nice beat in the background, and done. But as the footage came together and I picked this song by Silver Maple called The Farmhouse, my creative juices came alive. The music reminded me of the game Tunic. Shout out if you love that game as much as I do. It's a really good game. Go ahead and play it. And it brought a sense of wonder and exploration in my edit. Just like what I felt when I played the game a year ago. It just made me feel like I was floating through the visuals, and the title of the video came to me. I am floating. As I kept on editing and being immersed in this idea, I thought, what if there was narration? So I took my current draft, played it through, and just started writing. Whatever came to my head when I saw the visuals I had prepared. I then recorded that in Adobe Audition, added in some effects, and put it in my timeline. And that's really when this concept of a disembodied spirit floating through the streets of Japan and contemplating life came to be. And every time I kept going over my timeline and seeing this billboard, I just imagined it bursting into 1,000 particles and thought, I could try that in After Effects. And when I finished working on that, I thought, might as well do this too and enhance the already strong visuals. Finally, I knew the disembodied spirit had to be there in the edit somewhere to give it that sense of completeness, and that's how we ended up here. So it was simply me just following my intuition and seeing where my creativity and really where the music could take me. And it was a breath of fresh air on my part. And I really learned a lot from this experience because I can't stress enough, I put a lot of pressure on myself when I'm editing a project. Everything has to be planned, everything has to be nitpicked, including the script, everything has to be perfect. But sometimes when you let go and just let the edit and the ideas guide you, like an old Japanese man you meet at the peak of the Fushimi Inari Shrine and Story for Another Day, you can create something beautiful. And I think we could open ourselves more to that process, and not just stick to the rules or stick to what we're used to doing. Additionally, what especially helped me this time around was that I had already finished my main travel film. And this was just something I could do for fun. No pressure at all, and that just felt great. So next time you're working on your own project, try not to put any pressure on yourself and don't doubt that voice inside your head. Just go with the flow and see where it takes you. And also, when you think there's nothing else you can do about a project, give it a few days of rest, try to look at it with different eyes, look at it from a different perspective, and try to see if you can flow into a new direction. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little insight into my last project. Please go check out that video of a spirit floating across the streets of Japan and contemplating life. What is its meaning? If you haven't yet. Stay tuned, as I mentioned, I'll be posting a simple tutorial on particles, particularly with this disembodied spirit shot. And yeah, go create something wonderful. See you guys soon. Bye!